Classic FM. I would like to now welcome our production to tell you exactly how this show will be running. Kindly help me welcome Dow.
So without wasting time, you've heard the speech that has been taken by my colleague Sarah. So my name is Dawson Amol. I'm the production director for Miss Art South Sudan. The foundation stands on building the girl child, building leaders who are environmental friendly and people who are able to stand for our environment whenever things come to interfere with the environment. So the theme this year is Miss Earth Loves Fauna, and as we are aware, when you talk of fauna, we are trying to talk about the animals that we have. We know of the Sud wetlands in South Sudan being the biggest wetland in Africa, and we know of the animal migration and every other thing that you get to hear about the Sud and how it can attract a lot of tourists. And then we are also affected by the issue of poaching in the country. So much as she's talked about getting people who have interest in environment, it calls out to everybody in the country so that we try support this initiative, we try support these girls. We ensure that when we get a winner, then we also respond to the calls that are going to follow afterwards. We are going to have the main event, and the main representative that will be the winner from this contest on the 30th will be from mid of October up to end of November. And we are going to have one representative going to represent South Sudan in Manila, Philippines. And why I was saying we should respond to the calls is because we will have some segments, we'll have some voting of eco videos, we'll have other activities that are going all around, and we are calling the general public to at least contribute towards pushing South Sudan to the map and to contribute towards showing out the efforts that we're trying to put up to put this country into a better place where we care about our environment and we advocate for the good of the environment for the future. So thank you very much. We'll be happy to welcome any questions from you guys.
Yes, by the name Denilson Deneken. My question goes to you because there's something which I caught. It said it's about the environmental changes or the climate which is affecting the whole world.
I do believe all of us were witnesses to that, and it is just the beginning of what we can do as South Sudan. If we can plant 200 million, so be it. But I do encourage in your very own compound, at least half 4 trees.
Apart from planting, tree planting, what other projects that you are going to run?
We are looking at clearing up South Sudan in terms of plastic pollution, and we want to fight to introduce another policy or another bill of discouraging multiple use of the plastic. If we can have one use of plastic bottle, the moment you drink in it, let's take it back for recycling, for it to reduce, to produce another product, it will be good. It will take off all the blueness we have in our streets. And something else, I was really happy the other day to see a South Sudanese build a house from plastic bottles. Those are the kind of initiatives we're actually looking for.
But the second question was not answered. The prize winner, the first son before.
So when you look at them and when you look at Miss South Sudan Foundation, our focus is not always the prize winners, because most of you maybe have seen it in beauty pageants happening all around, because what convinced someone to contest is, what are you going to win? For us, it's not about the prizes. For us, it's about building these young girls. We have 4 winners that we are going to get from these 11 ladies, and all these 4 winners will have the projects that they're running, and we will push with them as a foundation. We'll make sure they're able to achieve their respective projects. So someone was asking what else were you able to do if planting of trees was the first thing that came up earlier. Then All these contestants, they have personal projects that we as a foundation are willing to take care of. We're willing to help them once they put up their projects. And if it is financial assistance, you can imagine when you're able to do like a project for someone, then we don't want to talk about what they are winning. Like for instance, you've already got to see that the person that is going to win is already going to be given a means of transport so that they're able to implement the activities. So we don't look at the prizes that we are giving them, but we look at this platform as a way to build them up as leaders. So I hope this answers you well.
Yes?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good initiative. I mean, the talk today is about climate change. And climate change is indeed real. And it's good to have ambassadors like people like you who can go out there and talk about that. Implementing climate change or implementing trees or maybe coming up with initiatives is always hard when it comes to, facilitating financially. Is there any way that maybe the people will feel that this event that is going to happen is going to generate something that can facilitate what you have in line with what you're already doing? How are you going to source for the finances to implement all this?
We do not want to say that with the event we are going to generate the startup of this project, no. But we want to partner with companies that look into waste management, afforestation, and things like that, environmentally affiliated companies. So when we come together, we'll be able to get to other states and do more things. So we're looking for partnerships.
Okay, so your plan is to get to other states as well?
Yes, of course, there is no Juba without other states. There is no South Sudan without other states.
For the start, how many states will you be looking for at the moment?
Currently, we've planted in 3 states. We've done Eastern Equatoria, Central Equatoria, and Lake States. Lake States was actually our last one.
Okay, yeah, me again. My question is, so since you are Mrs. since that year 2019,
Yes.
what happened whereby you did not conduct it in 2021? And then the second question, okay, you answer that one.
So, okay, so let me kindly answer that one. And we all know that you are affected by the pandemic, and the Miss Earth was not even taking place where it does in the main. So we were not even having the main Miss Earth. And due to COVID, we can understand very well that a lot of things had to go down. So 2020, we were not able to do it because of COVID. There's nothing else. 2021, we had a lot of financial strains in South Sudan, and there are a lot of things that were going on. So based on our ability to achieve things, we were not able to do it at that time because coming out from COVID, then facing financial strains, it was very difficult to put up the event, and that's why we ended up having the event again in 2022.
Is there age limited?
Yes.
These people?
Yes.
What are their ages for those
18 to 20,
participants?
18 to 28.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Someone at the back there has been
Yeah,
raising
there
their
is a
hands.
lady there.
I'm from Mrs. BC and my question is,
Yes.
I'm Anne from Mrs. BC and the question is, I can see you are focusing on climate change and planting of trees. And remember when we say climate change, some part are experiencing flood in the country. How are you tackling that flood? Because we can't continually planting trees there. And apart from that, you say that 25 trees we planted in primary school. How do you select the primary school that you are doing?
We don't select.
You just do it randomly?
Yes.
Because I'm asking that when it comes to selection, because we have some schools whereby we don't have total, we don't have any tree.
Exactly.
That's the selection there, they can be the priority compared to a school that have 2 or 3 trees. That's the question number 2. Secondly, thirdly, is the ladies, because they will represent South Sudan, and when they go there, it will not because they represent themselves, they will represent the whole nation. So how do you prepare them? Remember, they will meet with other leads from outside, academically, physically, confidence, and body fit, the height. How do you choose it?
Miss Earth itself has its own criteria of picking every national beauty queen. So every other country goes by that, by those requirements. So the first requirement is that you have to be a citizen of that country you're representing. You must not be married, neither do you have children. I mean, the belief is it will interfere with what you're carrying. The other one is you have to love environment. At least you shouldn't be forced into doing whatever project there is. You have to be between 18 and 28, except the US. The US can be 16 and 28. They have a teen. Before being adult, there is a teen, which is allowed for them. For the height, South Sudan is a special case when it comes to Miss Earth, because the CEO of Miss Earth, South Sudan Foundation, and Miss South Sudan is actually in the book of Guinness Book of Records as the tallest beauty queen, and that is Ayoden Kudum. She's currently there. So South Sudan is given at least 5'9". You should at least be a Form 4, yes, joining uni or finishing or stuff like that. That gives you the intellectual ability to get into deeper issues, you know. I will not be able to say that a high school leaver will be able to debate about the Nile or debate about climate change. When these people start mentioning big jargons in climate change, they will not be able to.
So get back to my first question.
Uh-huh.
Flood.
You didn't answer my first question.
What was your first question?
What was it?
By the flood.
Flood. Because I asked that time, you did not answer the issue of flooding. So
Okay, let me
this
try.
was asked.
So we're trying to look at this initiative not as the first initiative in South Sudan that deals with the environment and try to mitigate things. And we don't want to exaggerate some things, because as a foundation, the flooding that we are having right now has some science behind it. And the only thing we are able to do as a people is just reduce the damages that we are causing to the environment. And as a foundation, that is what we are laying all our efforts on, to build up activities that are going to be environmental friendly. We cannot be able to talk so much about the floods, but you know, as a beauty queen, the person that is going to win, then they are also going to partner with people who are telling us this is the right thing to do and this is what to do. But this comes at a national level, but these are efforts at the end of the day that are done by several people, and they end up contributing to the same thing. So it is not our immediate responsibility to mitigate the floods.
Yeah, we are.
And maybe I should clarify, you know that is a humanitarian thing, right? And we can only come after the humanitarian to give a helping arm. At this point, we do not have the ability to distribute what they can distribute. We can only give them maybe the physical person to carry blankets from Juba to maybe where the flood affected people are. But when floods were happening, one of the most appreciated people in the country at that time was actually our CEO. She was able to go through people, did a fundraising, a huge fundraising, bought things like blankets, food stuff, and all of that, and distributed them to those that were affected. For me, I feel like that was a huge effort from one person. So again, it goes back to if we can combine our efforts, we can do a good job.
You have answered my question. I'm satisfied.
Thank you.
Someone
Okay,
at
can
the
we
back
have?
there?
Yeah, my name is Mabior Obiolatem, representing NCA. My question is very simple. You know, I'm really impressed with how you are presenting yourself.
Thank you.
And when I look at young people like you, I know we are heading somewhere as a country. You know, like the question of the environment, we have seen a lot of people who are cutting down trees,
Yes.
who are kind of making the country to be desert. So how do you deal with those kind of issues when it comes to the people who are burning the forest? And like you would go to some places and find majority of trees have been cut down. And now you are trying to plant trees that, and your target is let's say 5 million. And then somebody somewhere is like is destroying what you already planted. So how do you deal with that? Is there any law that is trying to stop those people not to cut down trees?
Don't you think this is a question me and you, both of us, should ask the government? I mean, it should be part of the constitution, right?
Yes.
Because that used to happen a lot in Kenya and in Rwanda, and the punishment was you cut down, you plant too. Because, okay, fine, the trees that are just in the ground, but they're old enough not to give anything other than shade. Fine, those trees can be cut down, but replaced with something more like a fruit tree or an economical tree like shea butter. So yeah, unless we both fight for that kind of policy to get into our constitution.
Yeah, but when you look at our economic situation of the country, majority of our people are depending on the charcoal. They go on the forest, and that is how they make their, make their living meal. So we have to do something about it. It is not about you, it's not about me, but it's our collective duty to do that, so that we can stop cutting down the trees that will have a negative impact on our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe to add on that, part of the Miss Earth Foundation talks about less use of fossil fuels. And that is what you're trying to talk about right now. But everything comes together whenever we come up as a team. And whenever we have a platform that tells us this is what we are supposed to do, and we join hands and be able to stop the rest of the people from doing that. Stopping them is not an easy thing. It needs us to come up with better ways. Like when you look at other East African countries right now, they're using gas, they're using stoves, so they are moving away from the use of the fossil fuels. So with time, if we are able to acquire that, and if we are able to promote the use of such equipments, then we are able to reduce the number of trees that we are getting down in the name of charcoal.
Yes.
My final question is, you talked about planting trees. Do you have a specific target?
Of planting trees?
Yes, and then number two, of course, fighting climate change requires finances. Like how much do you think are you targeting maybe to implement those projects?
Pardon, on the second one?
How much are you like targeting to implement those projects?
And also to add into his question, there are trees that he talked about sustainable charcoal production. I did a story in Uganda about sustainable charcoal production, where some people are using planting trees that grow very fast, and then they cut those trees, and they can also use to produce charcoal. Because if you're talking about planting trees, you don't have to also forget about someone who's surviving on this charcoal. So is there a way that you're trying to identify the type of trees maybe that can be grown? Also, to help other people to get into charcoal and survive on it, as well as people fight climate change and deforestation?
Currently, with the 100 million trees, which is being implemented by the Ministry of Environment and technically supported by Food and Agriculture Organization, I will not say that they do have specific kind of trees. What I've planted with their support in the past has been fruit trees and beautification, the tall trees, those ones. But then economically, they've been advised to also put shea butter trees and to also put, what do we call, the sour fruit that you can make as juice. So those ones are economical, but then again, we have to bring in shades, a way of calling rain to stop with the climate change. So I don't think we have a specific way of planting right now.
My first question hasn't been answered. How many trees do you target?
As Miss South Sudan,
As Miss South Sudan, and then what budget?
I will not go back to the budgeting of either trees or economy, because we need trees right now. And if we can get millions of them, so be it. We don't have a target for that. The more we plant, the better. Yes?
Thank you. All is exhausted, but I believe we have a Chinese contestant. That's what I can just testify. And my question is, you said you're looking for how to implement. What would be the place for the other some registration fee for them to be part of Miss Sudan? And if yes, how much was it?
So I know it's a common thing somewhere else or anywhere else where people have registration fees, but at the point where you want more information is that you check.
Are we permitted to conduct some interview with the contestants?
If you can do on a personal basis, there's no problem with that, okay? You can choose who you want to ask something. It's always okay. Yeah, but you know, when you have to interview all of them, it will be a lot of time. So something else I was adding is if you want to get more information about the event, then we have our website. You can check misssouthsudan.com. So it's misss.com. So you can be able to get other information that you're not able to get provided from the contestant information and every other thing that you need to know.
So thank you so much for coming. Have yourself a fantastic rest of the day.